Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Hedera and HBAR, so let's just dive in and let's quickly start off with the overall price chart. So we are nearing my area of demand after we did top out up here at significant resistance, as you guys do see on the weekly chart here. We did hit the 50 weekly EMA and we did reject off of it pretty hard. Also, we are seeing a sell-off due to the fact that there will be a token unlock. How deep will we go? I have no idea, but I will start to bid within like the 5.5 cent zone to 6 cents. If we do lose this range, then I will be buying back down here in the demand range of almost like 4.5 cents to possibly all the way down to like 3 cents, which this is where most of the demand is after we do lose almost all of this demand up here. So with that, we just have to be patient on what's going to be happening next on the price chart. We need to watch things closely. But one thing that I have been watching outside of the price action, because again, I don't like to focus too much on price action during a bear market. I'm not expecting us to go to the moon anytime soon, but I'm also not expecting us to crash down to like 1 cent like most people have been saying for a while now. What I have been focused on, though, is the statistics behind Hedera and the growth behind it. I've seen the Hedera account take a little bit of a shot at Watcher Guru's announcement around Ethereum hitting 1.9 billion transactions and them responding with their 4.9 billion transactions. And yeah, I mean, at some point in time, people need to wake up and realize that this market is not just about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Don't get me wrong, I think that there is still a lot of focus on both of those projects because, you know, historically, they have been great investment vehicles. But when we take a look at the next generation of crypto technology and what's, you know, happening right now, especially from names like ServiceNow and Avery Dennison, the Coupon Bureau, etc., like we are going to start to see a large amount of transactions being pushed over Hedera that will overshadow the growth in transactions in just the last couple months, which I know to some people that might be shocking, but it is the truth. Now, like I said, the transactions growth, we've been focused on the transactions for a while, ever since we started to really kind of pump out because it has been surprising. It's a statistic that me personally, I love to look at. I mean, 61.5 million transactions in one day, that's something unheard of within crypto. It's also the fact that when we look at Hedera and we look at how overlooked Hedera actually is, it's also a statistic that I love to see because we are seeing a token, we are seeing a project that is extremely overlooked from the retail side being utilized massively by the enterprise grade sector, which take a step back and think about that. The retail sector doesn't care about a project that enterprise is extremely bullish on to the point where they are moving away from Ethereum and coming over to Hedera. It's a big deal. Now, also, I have been focused on the Ethereum transactions because in 8 years, yeah, that's right, 8 years, it took Ethereum to get to 1.9 billion transactions. Now, granted, these Ethereum transactions are generating incredible amounts of revenue. I've talked about this. When we actually go over to the report, the Hedera report itself gives us a little bit of a story on how much money is being made from these transactions being pushed over Hedera today. About roughly $2.5 million. We know that the transactions on Ethereum are generating incredible amounts of revenue because of the cost per transaction and the cost of settlement of these transactions as well. So, yeah, Ethereum, it only has 1.9 billion transactions, but think about how much revenue is being pushed over Ethereum. And this is not me being bullish on the fact that Ethereum is extremely expensive. I'm just saying the revenue definitely is something to look at. But what I really am trying to put into perspective by bringing up how much money is being made off these Ethereum transactions, think about how much we still have to grow in terms of Hedera's transactions. Like, we just seen Ethereum celebrate 1.9 billion transactions. Hedera is about to celebrate 5 billion transactions. I look at the future around Hedera of getting it to about like 50 billion transactions, 500 billion transactions, 5 trillion transactions. Like, my mind around the transactional flow on Hedera is completely different than, hey, we're at 5 billion transactions. This is huge. Because although, yeah, it is a big deal, but at the surface level of Hedera and what they are doing, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of what Hedera is, left to still achieve. And when you look at the revenue, it really gives you that picture. It really paints that picture for you on the fact that, like, this is still just early on. We're still very early on what Hedera has to achieve. But again, I think it is funny that Ethereum took 8 years to get to 1.9 billion transactions, and we doubled that in just the last, I think it was like, what, 4 or 5 years now? So it is pretty crazy. It really is crazy to look at that and just see like the recent growth in transactions in the last couple months. I mean, the last couple months alone is basically 1.9 billion transactions almost. In 1 month, we almost achieved the same exact transactional flow that Ethereum has done in 8 years. So yeah, things are changing. And I do think that the demand is also going to change around crypto as well. And I really did want to make a tweet over on Twitter. I was going to talk about, how many enterprise-grade applications are still on standby to go live on Ethereum, or on Hedera, sorry. There's only one enterprise-grade application live on Hedera, and it's already, overshadowing what Ethereum is doing. That's one enterprise-grade application. Imagine 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And I've said this in a recent video where I was talking about, like, just imagine the growth of, Hedera when we have the Coupon Bureau live, or we have ServiceNow, fully live, or any of these projects live. It's going to be a game changer in not only transactional flow, but also revenue flow, because that's the big thing. We're focused on revenue right now. I love the numbers of transactions. Trust me, for the regular retail individual, these are great. This statistic alone, when you say, hey, Hedera has, almost 5 billion transactions, people are going to be impressed. But when you've been in the space for a while, and if you understand revenue flow, you're like, okay, well, we're still very early on because we're only at $2.5 million per year in revenue. So yeah, we will get to that point. I love the applications that are building out on Hedera. We've talked about Toko many times. I'm very excited for this to be fully utilized within the enterprise grade and institutional grade sector. These things do take time though, which I've always said. Like when we look at a lot of the things being built out around crypto and DLT technology, it really is at the starting point still, and we still have a long way to go. But I have been focused on the applications that are already live on Hedera and seeing what they are doing. Avery Dennison, which is the first enterprise-grade application live on Hedera that is transacting at the transactions that we are seeing today, they continue to expand. In fact, they just announced that they've completed their acquisition of ThermoPatch, which is a leader specializing in labeling, embellishments, and transfers for the sports, industrial laundry, workwear, and hospitality industries. And if you guys did want to go check them out, here you guys have their website, thermopatch.com. And yeah, they are in some great markets already. They're in healthcare, they're in laundry, they're in garment MFG, direct sale, dry cleaners, all this. This is great. Because again, this might not be exciting to most people, but this is transactional flow. And they do have a few products already as well. If you guys want to go check out their products, this is basically, their printing presses and stuff like that. But this is not where you will see most of their transactional flow coming from. Most of it's going to come from what they are doing already. But it looks like Avery Dennison is getting ready to expand. And it looks like they have some big plans ahead of them already, which, by the way, ThermoPatch, they're headquartered in New York, but they had revenues of approximately $40 million in 2022 with around 200 employees with operations in North America and Europe as well. And yeah, I mean, like, this is great. And I really do think that this is going to really shape the future around what is to be expected from Avery Dennison. I think that they're going to continue to expand rapidly. And I really do think that this is very exciting because, again, this is the first enterprise-grade application live on Hedera, and them expanding, them constantly building is very good for the transactional demand of Hedera as well. Now, with blockchain providing a secure and transparent ledger, Hedera aims to bring the world closer to a greener future. Startups, enterprises, and institutions are building the next generation of ESG solutions on Hedera. And yes, when we actually go over here to this breakdown article, we do see a few major names representing the likes of GBBC's Interwork Alliance, Hedera, the HBAR Foundation, ServiceNow, DLA Piper, EY, and other top industry players. The panel delved into the innovative approaches and real-world solutions being developed to combat this pressing issue. Again, another big area of focus that I've always looked at with Hedera, outside of transactional flow and stuff like that, is the sustainability factor. Because again, going back to what Ethereum has accomplished with this 1.9 billion transactions, think about the inefficiency from the sustainability factor that Ethereum boasts, right? It's a big problem. This is also another reason why we started to see a lot of projects coming over to Hedera from Ethereum. It's not just the transactional tasks. It's not just the cost and the speed at which this does transact. It's everything, right? And I love to see ServiceNow here, because I've talked about ServiceNow so many times. 80% adoption among Fortune 500 companies in the United States, right? We do see ServiceNow is transforming how enterprise organizations operate by harnessing the power of the cloud and the latest in automation technology. Its platform streamlines and automates routine work tasks, helping to boost operational efficiency and minimize the risk of human error. This is through automation. This is through, probably AI technology at some point in time. But when we take a look at this, we know that Hedera is the go-to from the enterprise grade sector because names like ServiceNow. You don't see ServiceNow announcing that they're working with Ethereum. No, they're working with Hedera because of the efficiencies that it boasts. And we do see it's key to be fast in bringing big enterprise on board with emissions tracking and proper offsetting. Our mission is to help track emissions properly by leveraging the ESG management and reporting solution that's powered by ServiceNow. And this is, of course, from Blockchain and DOT Solution Engineer and Innovation and Strategy Office of ServiceNow, Nicola Etico, hope that I'm saying that name right, and this explains the over-encompassing process of working in open source. So again, a lot of the power that we are seeing from these names, like even DLA Piper, all of them are choosing Hedera because of it's outside of the realm of what most are looking at. Everyone wants to look at okay, well, if I transact on Hedera, it's the cost, it's the speed, it's also sustainability. Although everyone wants to overlook sustainability, it's a crucial area, especially from a lot of these major enterprise applications and these enterprises that are building out on Hedera. If you read most of these breakdowns, if you read most of the overall idea on why they are choosing Hedera, it's because of the statistics around not only speed, cost, but sustainability. They've moved from Ethereum. They came over here to Hedera because of everything. And we started to see this as well even with NFTs. A lot of NFT projects are transacting on Hedera and minting and selling their NFTs over on Hedera rather than Ethereum due to, again, costs associated with business. A lot of these enterprises, they can afford to transact on Ethereum. Don't get me wrong, they 100% can. But from the retail side of things, if you wanted to start an NFT project, Hedera is your go-to because of the costs associated with it. Again, everything that we are going to see on Hedera in the next couple years, go back to the number of transactions on Ethereum, right? It started out small. Back here, it went from 0 in 2015. All of a sudden, by 2016, by the end of 2016, it was sitting at about roughly 18 million, okay? It didn't hit 1 billion transactions until around 2021. So if we think about that, it took a very long time for this network to pick up in transactional flow. It was doing very well, but when we look at Hedera and we look at the transactional flow, it really did take us quite some time to get to this level too. But think about it, this is just the first level. In my opinion, Ethereum has already been levels ahead of Hedera. Okay, they've had a ton of dApps being built out on Ethereum. There's a lot of things being powered by Ethereum. Hedera, one live enterprise grade application. That's it. So yeah, this is just the beginning. And it gets me very, very excited for the future around what Hedera is going to be doing. I don't like to say, hey, this is an Ethereum killer or anything like that, but this is the closest thing to, I would say Ethereum, in terms of Ethereum's level, that is here, and that we can invest in. I would say that this will usurp a ton of demand from Ethereum and possibly flip it eventually. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. So it's up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Wherever you guys are on this before, this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.